Hello, this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. This video is for Mr. Brown, and here we finally have throttle body finished. Okay, sir, so here is your unit. Let's just go over the live readings first. The unit has been energized on the bench for many days actually. There were some holidays and this and that, so I just had it sit on the bench. First attempt, first bench test failed, and I had to go deep inside the unit to get the issues sorted, specifically with potentiometer. And I sent you those videos before, so you remember the potentiometer case along with the case itself, the cover here. So that is also installed, replaced with the other unit, which is okay. Now temperature, it's barely getting over 90 degrees because it is really cold in New York. As you can see, I can only get this room to get to 64. So in a summer day, I mean, we'll get much higher temperature out of it, over 100. But that's just to show that the unit has been energized for a while. You cannot get this temperature to rise quick. It only takes hours and hours or hours of operation just to get the temperature to go from 64 to 90. So for example, the cold unit, as you can see, room temperature over around 60 something. I do have an extra heater in my work area, but this is a bench test, so I don't want to warm this area up. So just to show you that. Now we'll go to the actual readings, just so we encompass both the screen and the throttle actuator in itself, the throttle body. Now the R1 value is 0.5, 0.49. This is right exactly in the middle. 0.6 to 0.4 to 0.6 is where you want to be, so straight in the center, which is great. 4.25, that's what the usual number that always shows with this particular setup. And that is also good because we have it where it's supposed to be, not over, not less, so we're okay. Micro switches here, they might be jumping on the video, don't mind that, that's a software limitation. But other than that, on off when throttle is at idle. Once we open the throttle, they switch over to off on. That means the micro switch inside works, and the actual graphite surface also works, so then it picks it up. In terms of readings, when you move the throttle plate, obviously we have readings to change on potentiometers. So let's go wide open throttle here. Although on your vehicle that's not going to be like this because different control module that your SL500 uses, but on wide open throttle while engine is while you're driving, it will happen. You will never see it, but it will happen. When the engine is at idle, you will have throttle to open this much. Not an idle, I'm sorry, the engine off but ignition on. Even with lever being at wide open throttle, the throttle plate will remain open about that much. I would say 70 degrees or so, 75 or maybe 80 degrees, something like around that range. Not 90 degrees just like what we see now, but that's because I'm using different module, control module, just to show that throttles actually do open all the way, wide open. The readings, they will not be mirror image from idle, but we see that readings do follow. So every time we move the throttle linkage, our voltages also follow. So there is a little delay, yes, but that's just the way it is. So if you go down lower, then we go to different voltages, and that is proper. So voltages track right, they trace each other, and potentiometer, the whole sweep is good. And obviously if there would have been any issues, then the throttle body would not last all these days on the bench. Okay, the throttle linkage is extremely light now. No more problem with the bearing because that's a different case. Potentiometer, I double checked. I had it double checked after all these days, and now I can, I just put all the screws and everything back together, tighten them up. So that is finished. The plate is aligned up, no binding, no touching, and thread locked on the screws, the bolts rather. so they don't undo themselves if there is any vibration. Never seen it, but nonetheless, some oxidation, and you can see a little bit here and there. That is normal. The unit is built in 1994, so you can imagine it's almost 30 years old. So yes, of course there will be a little bit here and there, but my question is the actual binding, and this is not binding. This is good. And yeah, so this is basically how it is. This is how unit looks. Very nice, cleaned off quite well given the miles and age in general. So basically it is finished. This one actually took me a while, to be honest with you. This was one of the, basically, whatever, if anything goes wrong, this one basically had everything go wrong with it. But nonetheless, potentiometer surface was good, so that's why I opted to keep original plate. But brushes were replaced, and well, I sent you the video about that. I mean, that's just a different story. The wires are replaced, of course. Entry point sealed off. I left this piece. This is for the old throttle, but if you want, for the old loom rather, so if you want to secure it on your intake manifold attachment point, you can. Not really necessary, but it was there from the factory. So this is it. That's basically all. This is quick operation. This is off. Throttle is off. Activation. And there it goes again. Okay, so this is basically all. The unit is ready to go. I'll give you a call later, or call me when you watch this video. We'll go over logistics, and I'll mail it back out. Alright, so this is it. This is Victor at RestoringMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.